both paths have challenges, both paths have conflicts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, choose which one will serve you best.
Hi, welcome to the Change Makers podcast. I am so excited about our guest today, Neil Byrne. Neil, great to see you here, man.
Thanks for having me, Daddy.
I'm so excited.
It's good to be here.
Amazing. Now, Neil specializing in training elite athletes and high-performing individuals to become mentally much fit. His work provides clients with the specific tools they need to train their mind and master the pitch they play on. He is passionate about the positive impact his work creates in his clients' lives, both personally and professionally. Oh, wow.
It's nice to hear. That's a good introduction. Thank you.
That sounds powerful. Now, I always start with quotes or mantra. So, can you share with us your powerful mantra and why?
Okay. Yeah, I did a coaching program last year. And part of it was to look at the 7 important areas of your life. And when we drilled down to that, it was coming up with mantras that I would repeat to myself every day. So I don't use them every day now, but I would say 3 to 4 times a week I repeat them. I have them recorded. So the areas were body, relationships, finance, inner game, outer game, play, and one more, work. So say the one I have for body is, I am a sexy powerlifting gymnast with fantastic chi. So that's when I say to myself, and I'm going, I'm not that motivated to train today. I'm a bit tired. I go, no, this is the person I am. And so I find those mantras are very powerful because the mind believes what you tell it. So if I keep telling it it's that, I am already a sexy powerlifting gymnast with fantastic chi. So,
I love that.
So I have one for all 7 areas, roughly a sentence each, like that, kind of pack it as powerful as I can. And then I say them to myself a few times a week. It works well.
Amazing. I am 100% with you on that. Like what you talk about, you bring about. There's power in words. So when you use the words to empower yourself in terms of your mindset and also use it for your body, that's powerful, man. Now, in your own words, what does master the pitch they play on mean to you? What does it mean?
Yeah, so it's the tagline for my business and what I do. So with me, it's about helping people master whatever pitch it is they're on. So if it's an athlete, it's the arena they compete in, or it's the pitch that they physically play on. If it's somebody from the corporate world, it's with the work or the role that they do and how they function. But it is more than that. It's like, to master that pitch, you need to master all your pitches. So it's not about just how you show up to compete. It's about how you do on the days you're not competing, how you wake up each morning, what's your routine like, what's your thoughts and beliefs and values, and how aligned to them are you. So it's more about creating the right internal pitch and mastering that and having full clarity as to what you're doing and why. And then you master the outer pitch.
Amazing. Once you master one thing, there's a saying that once how you do one thing is how you do everything. And what you just describe is that you have to have that alignment, between how you showing up and also how you are at home. And yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because one thing with that I noticed, I was like, that coaching course I spoke about earlier that I did last year, I was like, life is good for me. Just work is the only thing I need to improve and get better and really find clarity on what I'm doing. But as I went through it and my frustration subsided, I was like, no, there's other areas I all need to show up in. And it's like, they're so interconnected. Yeah, it's like, there's no point being great at work if I'm shit at relationships, because relationships are important to me. So it's just like, everyone drips and feeds into the other. And it's about understanding how to really encompass that.
How powerful. You've competed, right? You've competed at the highest level in the field of sports and also corporate worlds. Talk to me about what made you change direction from those two worlds to mindset coach.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to compete at the highest level in sport. I played professionally. It was my first season with a club in France and third game in, and I had a very bad injury, and I was 23 at the time. And I was just getting going, and just 3 years prior to that, I started to understand my limiting beliefs and how they were impacting me. I changed some of those, and so I got to play professional. But 3 games in, I had a very bad injury, and I had subsequent operations that weren't done correctly, and that led on to a legal case. It stopped me going back. It meant I had 5 operations in 18 months, and I never got to play again. So I played my last game at 23, so I didn't get to the level I wanted, and that was challenging. And I actually stayed with that narrative for a while, that I'm a failure, because I didn't get to play until 35, which was the original plan. But looking back on it, I achieved a lot. I pushed a lot of my own limits with very little external support, and I played professionally. And now I'm carrying that forward over the last 7 to 8 years. I'm really working on improving that and, mastering that a bit more and improving other limiting beliefs that come up. It's like, that was a good foundation I achieved, and it was great to be able to do it. But now I want to become an ultra professional in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like about that story, I could tell myself I was a failure because I wanted to play at a higher level, and I did know I could do it, but stuff happened outside that stopped it.
Yeah.
But I refocused, and I know what I'm doing now. I'm so passionate about that all that energy can go into that.
So yeah, I see. What did you learn, I guess, from that setback, or one could say you put it as a failures, but I like the word feedback than failures. So what did you learn from it?
It was a very tough time. Yeah, it took a lot out of me. I put in a lot of time, effort, energy. I was so passionate about it. And I felt very fucking unfair what happened. I really felt a bit cheated for a while, a long while. And even though I went into a world of finance and I was doing well at that, there was still some hurt about that chapter that took a while to process. And I told myself, I was like, it's good, it's good that I play professionally and it's fine and I'm doing this now. But how I was actually communicating the story I was telling people was quite different. It was saying, poor me, this happened. But I had to process that at some point, because I just chose I didn't want to carry it. And so I reframed that story, and I looked at what I got out of it, and I got a lot more good out of it, and a lot more credits in my own personal bank than the negative stuff. So I chose to focus on that, and to allow that to go, you're a powerful person, that when you want to do something, you do it, you proved it, let's go again, let's do it in a different arena. Yeah, so.
Amazing. My coach always say, Daddy, there is no failures, only feedback, and ask the right question. What's the opportunity here? What can I learn from this? Because I used to be like, oh, poor me, look at me, why me? All that mindset.
It's easy to stay there.
To stay there.
Yeah, but it's small and boring.
So true. Now, yeah, man, I'm just curious. Like, tell us, like, what's something people seem to misunderstand, one could say, about you?
That's a good question. I've noticed when I've changed myself and how I function and how I operate by doing some work on myself, some people don't like that around me, because it's...
I can relate, yeah.
Yeah, because it's going, Neil was this way, now he's talking slightly different, now he's thinking a bit different, now he's looking at the world a bit differently. Yeah. It's like, some of my friends and people that are around me don't like that. Yeah. They go, we signed up for Neil this way, and now he's acting this way. I go, what's that all about? So, yeah, it's like, it was... Yeah, I felt quite judged sometimes over the past few years with that. I was going, what's their problem? I'm just trying to live the best life I can for myself and to push myself, and it's not a bad reflection on them. But I never really recognised that I'm actually changing the contract, I'm the one that's making the changes. So they signed up to A, and I'm now giving them B. And I was like, I do need to take some ownership for that.
Love that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, it's so easy to just look at somebody else and go, oh, why are they pushing shit my way? It's like, it's not as black and white as that sometimes.
So true. Yeah, I can see that, like, so many people now, this is not a judgment, it's just an observation. They try to put you into the box and just say, hey, Daddy, you stay there, stay in the box, because their perception, right? Their limiting beliefs around, potential around, what you can do. and so they already put you in the box. But yeah, I like what you said, like, I need to change the contract. You put me here, A, you know what, I want to put in the C or D in that box. So yeah, that's what change makers is all about. Yeah? We change ourselves to change the world. And yeah,
I think when I change a lot around people that are close to me, sometimes it brings up stuff that they don't want to look at themselves, and that they're going, why is Neil living this life slightly different to how I'm looking at it and how I'm going about it? I think sometimes it brings up questions for people that makes them uncomfortable, and instead of going, that's information for me to work with and deal with myself, it's like, kind of going to distance myself from this guy because I don't like how he's living or how he's changing it, because I'm going down this road and I don't want any questions to be brought up. I just want to I want to play it sometimes small and safe, is how I perceive it. That's my judgment on it. I'll own that. But I'm doing it differently, and they're going, let's drift away from him, and that's fine. I think relationships work sometimes for a period of time. They kind of have a natural ending to them, and that's okay. It's to not force it and go, you have to like me how I am. It's like, if you don't, that's fine. We can we can drift, or we can just change the dynamic slightly, or need less from each other. So yeah, it's
people sometimes come to our life, it's like season, Sometimes some people come to our life to teach us something, and some just they stay there, and sometimes they just come and like I love this idea of like CSI. I call it continue self improvement, CSI. Nice. So my question to you is like, how do you continue learn, or how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things within your field or your role as a coach, as a mindset coach?
Yeah, I suppose I commit to myself. I don't broadcast myself as being perfect, as knowing everything, and that takes pressure off me. Yeah, because I'm a flawed human like everyone else, but I do my best to train myself. I do my best to pick up when stuff is going out of balance in my life. And why is that happening? What's underneath it? And doing the work on it. So I think just personally, that's the way I'm driven. I've always been curious. I've always wanted to know more. I've always wanted to understand, why is this person trying so hard and this person trying so little, in my opinion? It's like, what's motivating people? What's driving them? So I will always want to work on myself with that. So I get a lot of support from people. I've, like, on a monthly basis, go to the men's circle every Monday evening. That starts the week off right, where we talk authentically and real in a great circle with a good group of men. I get massages most weeks here, which is really nice. I get coached at least once a month. I go to kinesiologist, acupuncturist, different people that I talk to, that I share with. Even next week, I signed up to a warrior embodiment workshop. That's for the next 4 weeks. And that's based around owning that warrior energy and, that power that is within inside of us that we often suppress. I suppress it a lot because I don't deal with anger too well, and that's what's motivating me to go on that. So I was like, I know I struggle with letting out anger, and I often suppress it, and it's not good for me. And so I've signed up to that for the next 4 weeks, which I'm kind of intimidated about. I think it's going to be pretty full on. There's going to be a lot of screaming. We're learning how to do the haka and different stuff, so it's going to be it's going to push me, but I'm excited to do it. So I just will always want to do stuff and read more books, listen to different podcasts. It's just, I love it. It gives me energy. And I think with my career, that's one thing I decided. I was like, I want to do a job that gives me energy. Time and money is important, but I've proven to myself in the past I can do that in different arenas. And I was like, I want to be really energized about the work I do, and that's actually more important. Yeah. And I'm doing the work that really gives me energy. I love working with people. I love helping them. I love supporting them. And it just feeds my soul.
Powerful. So can you share with the Changemakers community the resources that can help them to perform at the highest level?
Yeah. On the book front, Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I think that's phenomenal. You've read it, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've read that book. Yeah. It's a really good book. Yeah.
It's just so good. It's just like, we create the life that we see.
Yeah.
And it's like, we do it from everything that's happened in the past is, going through our software in our head, and it's showing us how we look at the world, how we perceive it, and just how trainable and adaptable that is.
Mm-hmm.
And like his book goes through that. It's about like how to believe you are the person you want to see in the future and how to believe you are it now in order to create change. So a lot of my coaching programs, a large element is with Joe Dispenza stuff, because I think it's phenomenal work that he does. So that's a great book. Very detailed, so it takes a while to digest. I listened to it on audiobook, and it was only 7 hours long, but I'd say it took me about 15 hours, because I was stopping it, I was writing notes, I was taking time to let it in. It even took me, I think, a month or two to get through, because I just really wanted to absorb it as best as possible. So yeah, that's a book I highly recommend. But it's a hard read, so if you haven't read many personal development books, Four Agreements is a book. I don't know if you're aware of it.
Yes.
It's
Dan Miguel.
Yeah.
Miguel, yeah.
I didn't know the author, so thank you for that. Yeah, that's a lighter read. It's easier. It's one that I read when I did my coaching course 2 or 3 years ago. It was the first book that came up, and it's just about 4 simple agreements to help you live life a bit easier. And it's very simple. It's easy to digest, absorb. So I really enjoyed that book as well.
Yeah. What I really love about the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza is the concept of be greater than your environment, your mind, and the body. It's just so true. Like, to create change, we must be greater than those things. Like what you were talking about, with people that try to put you into the box. It's the environment that you find yourselves in. But if you're bigger than that, greater than that, then you can create the change.
Yeah.
But
it's all about ownership, isn't it?
Ownership.
It's so easy to go, oh, but I have to stay in this box. People are telling me. It's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
choose, because you might be miserable in box A, but it's safe. But you'll be uncomfortable in either box. So it's like to choose your uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
It's like both paths have challenges. Both paths have conflicts.
Yeah.
And it's just like, choose which one will serve you best.
I love that. So if you were to give 3 things or strategies for these people that are looking for performers, but they want to perform at their highest level, and if you were to share 3 strategies, what would that be?
Yeah. Okay. With that, I was like, is there any on the pitch stuff I can give you, like little nuggets? I think that stuff helps. Like a lot of the sports psychology, here's a technique to focus, and that can work. But I believe it's about what happens off the pitch is such a bigger impact. And the tools and the strategies you have to cope with what happens off the pitch will create better performance than these little hacks, if you want to call them that. So one for me will be, talk to people about what you find hard, about what you're struggling with. Let people in that's around you. Because often we like to carry the burden of struggles, of hardship, and we sometimes don't want to burden somebody. People actually do want to support, and they do often want to connect at that level, but you need to allow them in. And there's such lightness and freedom from just doing that. It's just like, I thought I had to carry this weight around with me and try and still perform at a high level. I just spoke about it, gave it a bit of space. Now I don't feel as heavy about it. So that's one. Another one, self-compassion. I think everybody's so hard on themselves, and especially with athletes that play at a high level and high-performing individuals. It's always focused on what's next, how can I improve? And there's sometimes that sense of never feeling like you're enough, because it's hard to enjoy the present. So sometimes it's just as simple as just going, you know what, I played a good match. Areas I could have improved at, but I will. It's just like, but I did a lot more good, had a lot more of a positive impact than a negative impact on the game, or whatever it is, same in a work setting. So it's just about like being kinder to yourself.
Kinder, yeah.
Yeah, because I think when you are kinder to yourself, you have more flexibility to try stuff. But if you're too hard on yourself, so if I let off a pass in rugby and it doesn't work out, and I'm very hard on myself, I go, I'm not going to try that pass again. I'm going to play it safe so I don't make a mistake. But it's hindering my ability to compete at a higher level, because you have to go for those passes if you want to play at the top leagues. You have to really improve your skill level to the maximum you can. So the third one, be present. Wherever you are, just be there. So often, myself included, I'm in a place but I'm not really in a place. I'm there but I'm thinking about what I have to do later. What's the next task? What's the next job to do? the more present you are, the more capacity you have to really perform at that moment. You know?
I like that, yeah.
And that's what I love about sport. Sport is about being present when you're competing. It's like it's very hard to think too far into the future. But often you notice in different sports, when players aren't present, they drop the ball, they make a mistake because they're thinking about what they should be doing next, as opposed to just focusing on completing the first task. So yeah, I think the more you can be present, the better you can compete in that moment.
I love it. So opened up, you know, and then self-compassion, and last is to be present. Last point, I think it's so imperative to just, as you said, like present, not only in your what you do, but with yourself. You're present with, you know, the people that you with. Man, powerful. Now, the next question is like, what are you working on at this moment?
Yeah, so I just, after finishing developing 2 programs. So one aimed at elite athletes, or players that want to become elite athletes, and the second one aimed at high-performing individuals. So they're both 8-week training programs, coaching programs. That is an hour and a half coaching session with me every week, with worksheets and exercise to do in between the weeks. So it's very much a pre-season for a person's mind, to set them up for a successful season and career. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. So it's I just launched them 5 weeks ago, and they're going great. They're really going well, and it was a big step for me to get to this stage.
Yes. Yeah.
There was a lot of inner resistance with putting myself out there, with, you know, stepping away from being a team player or employee. So it was challenging. It was hard, but I'm so happy that I was able to stay in the fight in certain respects, to sit with that uncomfortable stuff that comes up, with those old patterns that go, I don't like that you're doing this. We prefer not to be seen. And I'm going to be seen. I'm putting myself out there. But yeah, so the programs is what I'm doing with people at the moment, and yeah, it's one-on-one work, and I'm also working on some group workshops for working with teams. So that's what's going on, and it's keeping me very busy, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, it's early days with this. I've coached for 2 years, but I took time out last year to really reassess. Go, is it finance? Is it coaching? What other things could I do? This is the path I want to go down, and yeah, I think it's where I'll have the biggest impact with people. So yeah, really enjoying the process, and showing up every day and helping people.
Incredible. What's your vision? What's your vision for the world?
I think in general, it's just for people to have a bit more fun. You know, in most developed economies, people have food, they have shelter, they can survive even if they don't do very much. But very few people enjoy being present. Very few people can do it. And it's just like, yeah, I think life can be challenging if you make it challenging, and life can be a struggle if you make it a struggle and you continue to tell yourself stories that it is. Life can also be pretty cool if you allow that in and just go, I'm doing my best day today. Let's enjoy my downtime. Let's enjoy when I'm training in the gym. Let's have fun with people. Let's let loose in conversations, not care too much about what other people think, once your intention is, like, you know, nice and pure. So it's like, yeah, just to be a bit more flexible. If everybody's a bit more flexible with themselves and what they think of themselves, we'd have more fun.
Absolutely. Love that. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, so I have a website. It's nbmindset.com. They can also find me on Instagram or Facebook. On Instagram, it's Neil Byrne, NeilBeirne, and it's n.b.mindset on Facebook. So yeah, they can get in contact through that. On the website, you can book a complimentary consultation. So to talk to me about 20 minutes about what I'm doing, what it is you might need support with, and just to see if my programs are a good fit for you. But it's also just to give you a feel for, do you connect with me? Is this something you're interested in? So it's very much, there's no obligation to sign up. It's purely, let's see if it feels right for you, and if it's something you want to chat about. So maybe during this chat, people are going, oh, there's stories I'm telling myself that I'd love to just trash it out a bit more. Get in touch. Let's talk about it a bit. And yeah, there's no obligation from my side. I'm just happy to connect with people.
Powerful. So if you guys want to connect with Neil, I will leave the link below. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Daddy.
Neil, for your time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you, and I appreciate your time.
You too,
And,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope to see you again
definitely next Monday.
next Monday, definitely.